Hello, hello, hello. Happy Tuesday. Turn around Tuesday. Turn up Tuesday. Turn down Tuesday. What kind of Tuesday is it? Good morning, Patrick Sterling, with all the news in here. Good morning, Sterling. Thank you for putting that in there. Earnings and news from Sterling. So if you want to check out that, it's putting in some of the results from the key earnings reports. Let's see. Good morning, Tony. Good morning, Jacob. Oh, good. Yeah, we had Kashkari speaking again. Oh, boy. What was this? What? Goolsby, you cannot answer what number on long term yield equals enough type. To see, again, they don't know. They're guessing. They're guessing. This is why just get rid of the friggin' Fed. Make it a rule. Just come up with an algo, a rule that, you know what? And let's go stick with it. And then let the free markets decide. They don't know anything. They're guessing. They put us in this mess to begin with. They kept rates at friggin' zero forever. Then they're like, oh, we want more inflation. Well, why? Why do you want inflation? Besides, well, I know. I mean, the real reason is because our government keeps spending money like there's no tomorrow. But for the average person, why do you want, well, prices should increase 2% a year? Why? That who's that helping? Do your wages automatically go up 2% a year? Uh, and if it's 2%, then they get like 8, 7, 8, 9%. And they're like, oops, oopsie. So let's just get rid of the clown show, okay? Clown show done. Hey, Richard, can we look at Rivian? Sure. You know what? I'm just tired of the clown show. Let's get rid of a bunch of clowns trying to micromanage everything and leave it up to the free markets. We don't have free markets anymore. We don't even have capitalism. It's I don't even know what we have now. What a joke. There we go. Tuesday morning rant is done. Good morning, Anissa. All right. So what do we got going on besides tons of Fed speak today? This is just I gotta like mute Fed speak. What are they going to say that's important? Come on, people. If inflation goes back up, we're going to hike more. If it goes down, we're okay. There's not going to be a recession. Da 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 da. All right, we had Redbook coming in little lower than previous, so I'll have to see if that trend continues again. Uh, Sterling put in the Kashkari comments. I forgot that we had other speeches already this morning, and I already ignored them. Sorry. If you want that, just do the searches on it. What else we have? We have the Investors Business Daily Economic Optimism Index expected to come in pretty much in line or a slight bounce from last time. That's at 9 a.m. Central. And that's where we sit. Sort of a quiet day. Mixed in Apple down, Microsoft up, Google, Meta up, Amazon up. Where's our Tesla down a bit? But energy is the big news today. Oil breaking down. I want to know. We'll get to oil in a bit, but oil's hit that 79. Are we actually going to start refilling the strategic petroleum reserve, or was it a big bluff? Let's see what this administration does. I'm betting on bluff. There's your basic materials down, and gold's pulling back, but there's your basic materials and energy competing for the big pullback today. Com services, utilities, and technology up for today. Everybody can see what kind of mood I'm in today. And it's not about the markets. It's just about all this asinine stuff going on. Let's see. Oh, I should probably go unhinged and talk about a lot of stuff, but then they'll get the video taken down. We got no hike on the radar screen and the first cut coming in May, so nothing's there. Almost back to neutral mode. Still at the upper end of fear mode. Still watching for at least get to neutral mode before this is all said and done. But let's get to, I forgot, earnings. After the close yesterday, there wasn't really anything that worth talking about. Sterling put up the Uber stuff. They missed on revenue, which is the key number I'm watching. After Uber's been on a tear for the past couple weeks. After the close is Rivian. There just isn't a lot. And tomorrow we got Roblox. Again, nobody can really explain the business model for me long term. And AMC and Disney. After the close tomorrow. So far, all right, just wanted to review this real quick. So yesterday we had the double, the little mini double, which came down hitting the first thing. I left this on here just for quick little teaching moment. Then we got the little mini double bottom right against that first target. And then I had the targets up for the double bottom. Those double bottom, let me take off this so you can see it better. The little mini double bottom went to full target, but also invalidated, hitting that 75 level, invalidating after the stop reduction, invalidating the bigger double top, and now just sitting in chop mode. So what am I watching today? What am I watching? We're still in what I consider a sideways correction. No pullback yet. We've got a pausing bar. Now, yesterday's low area is very key. However, we break down from yesterday's low area. What's right below it? The hooking up 50. So about 43.50. If we do break yesterday's low, my key target is 43.50. If we go here, I'm just wondering what I didn't even put the harmonics on here yet. Let's just see where that gets us. That gets us the little mini levels. So 43.61, 43.57 area, but my key thing is 43.50. My key is 43.50 to the downside, and that's also, within the 4-hour rotation zone. It's even in front of the prior breakout zone, and that 50 is very key. We break below that, my next support is about 43.39. All right, so we're coming into a fair amount of support. We have to get some really negative stuff going on. Remember, we only have the economic optimism and Fed speak today, but I really doubt with the way the market's behaving that the Fed speakers can say anything that will shake the markets, especially with Powell speaking Wednesday and Thursday. What I'm watching to the upside now, the upside is what I'm really focused on. So we start breaking above 43.85. 43.91, 43.92, then 4,400. Nothing's changed with the harmonics from yesterday, but 4,400 is my first really key target, then 44.08. Above that, if it went on a massive tear day, come on, then we have about 44.17. The next major level that I'm watching is 44.42.50 on a closing basis. Hello, Options 22, rant number 2. Aren't you glad you tuned in today? Good morning, Jake. Aren't you glad if you tuned in late you missed the Mike rants? So NASDAQ already has broken above. Already has broken above and closed above, at least on the 1-hour time frame, the 15-minute time frame you see right here. Already closed above. Sorry, I would need to go back to the 1 hour. Sorry for jumping around this morning, but that's what I'm watching on to going into the open about 15,235. If we drop below that, 15,225. From 15,225 to 15,235 going into the open if we pull back. If we drop much below that, we could go back into the consolidation range. I'm still focused on more for this to potentially continue to the upside. 15,266, then the key cluster 15,300 to 15,304 area. And you'll see also why, remember, that's the 87.5 harmonic. We closed above the 62.5 back on last Thursday. So I'm putting into effect my 87.5 rule, and that's the key level I'm looking for. So that's what we have there. To the downside, we're coming into some really key support you saw, but if we start breaking below about 15,160, I'm going to be watching the internals and especially the VIX and the tick to see if we pull back closer to the 4-hour rotation zone and start a bigger breakdown. So far, if we want to use our harmonics, to see what the intermediate levels are. It's about 15,120 and 15,106. Again, even with cycles at the top, we haven't started rolling over yet, and we still have weekly cycles going back up. So I'm watching for the tag of that 87.5 area, which we already hit in the Qs, by the way. The Dow, little channeling pullback. Key support on the Dow is 33,950 to 920 to 950 area. You have the flat 200. You have the slightly hooking up 50. So that's key. If we break down below today's pre-market lows to the upside in the Dow, nothing's changed with the harmonics from yesterday, but the key level I'm watching for is about 34,190 to 34,200. The Russell so far easily the weakest. Keeping an eye on yesterday and pre-market lows is 1735.5. We pull below that. The key area is right around 1730 and then 1721. That's what I'm watching on that to get anything going. The Russell's the last thing I'm looking for to the upside. This would be a really, really flat double, and an offset, but you can watch for, you need a 4-hour close above 1746.8, 1752.5, 1755.4, 1758.2. The VIX, come on, slow computer. The VIX still finding some support around 1490. 1490, we start breaking below 1490. I'll get more into bullish mode. There's nothing much until we get above about 1570 to take me into a little more bearish mode. What else do we have here? I like the options much better than 3x ETFs, Richard. We'll take a look at Oracle if we have time, Sterling. I like the options. Yes, they both have decay in them, but I can fine-tune things much better. See, options, I can offset some of the decay, or I can even use a credit strategy. Okay? Coco, where you've been? You've deserted us. Oh, you're back to the weekly cup and handle. Coco, we've been in a bullish bounce for a while. We've been in. You come in, you say to the moon, but you desert us. You don't listen. You don't even know what we've been talking about unless you've been watching the replays, but you haven't been in live, Coco. Watching for the channeling. Pullback in the DAX. In the DAX, if we do break lower, there's very key support about 1570 to 15100. To the upside, I still need to close about 15302. Other than that, that's where that sits. The notes, inside day to yesterday. So I'm watching yesterday's high and low. But just below yesterday's low, there's a fair amount of support coming in at 107.15 area. So right now, there's not a great setup, but I'm still looking at yesterday's high and low. From my perspective, there's not a great setup. Yield, nothing key yet in the yield. Seeing if we pull back and set up a potential double, but in order for me to get anything bullish, even if we don't do that, we got to get above 467 for any bullish plays. 10-2. A little bounce, but still after triggering. Oh, it's technically not triggered yet, by the way, because it opened down here and closed and rolled over. But I'm still watching for this little mini double to trigger, and then watch which would be bullish. If this continues its pullback, would be bullish short term for the markets. Oh, Coco can't fire me up again to get rant number 3. Coco's cashing out on the all-time high they predicted in the summer. Coco, you're running out of time on that all-time high. Dollar index bouncing above this 105.21. 105.21, which was, again, going to see how this reacts in here. Because we start losing this area again, it's retested, a resistance area and then rolled over. It's got to do some heavy lifting. If we can sustain this level 105.70, but I'm not confident yet it can sustain this level. Cycles getting closer to the bottom on the daily and getting closer to the bottom of the weekly and getting to the bottom of the rotation zone, but we still don't have a solid pattern yet. Would rather to see it close above here, find some support in there, and then make a more solid base. Crude at that 79 mark. Let's see if they stick to the word. Say we're looking to bid for 79. It's a strategic petroleum reserve. I'm doubting it, but right below that we have the flat 200 and harmonic at the 78 to about 78.50. And remember, we're between the 50 and the 62.5, and we have the wicks from the lows in August. We lose those lows from the August area. I think we could make a really quick trip to 75.40 to 75.50. But there's a fair amount of support in here, even if they don't try to refill the SPR. But I'm watching for this in the short term. Good morning, Legion Reaver. Natty Gas pulling back, filled the gap, pulling back. So sit on hands, patience for me in Natty Gas right now. Sit on hands, patience level. Going to watch this day if we close below 315. If we do, watching for a retest of this low area back from about the third week in October. Gold, we got to talk about gold. On the daily basis, let me go to 4 hour. On the 4 hour basis, it triggered the head and shoulders. The daily, we have to see. We've already come down really close to that first target. I'm watching even on a continued pullback to this 1950 area. So that's where we're finally getting the pullback. But remember, this is not something I personally would be looking to initiate shorts on. This would be something I'd be looking at these areas for pullbacks due to the strength of so far a V-shaped reversal. But at least now it's getting to more of a bigger corrective move, which is really better from my perspective. I think I'm recording the next Futures Edge podcast this afternoon, so I'll give more thoughts on gold. We'll probably touch on gold in that. But this is better because the longer this takes to pull back, gets the daily cycles to roll over. I'm still expecting probably a pullback for the next couple weeks, even with bounces in here. And then that could work off a lot of this overbought condition and this rocket ship move higher and start reestablishing. Remember, I'm in more longer-term bull mode now back on gold. It's taken a while. Keep an eye on silver. Silver has confirmed the double, but not triggered it yet. It still needs a close below 22.56.5. So if you're a bull on silver, watch for that because it could lead to pull. Again, this would not be something I'd go looking to short. I'd be looking at these levels for pullback areas. Yen bouncing back still in the overall scheme of things, a sideways correction. We come back up to this 150, 170 area, could get very, very interesting. So you see weekly cycles rolling down, and this is a clear example of a sideways correction. This was a pullback correction. This is a sideways correction. So again, watching this on the short little term, it'll be interesting to see if the yen can close above 150.77. A little trick on FX, if you do trade XFX, so when I see something at 150.77, I really want to close above 150.80. The key numbers to watch for on closes are the 80s and the 20s. Remember that. 80s and the 20s. FX traders should know what I'm talking about. Euro, after hitting the second target, still in the channeling pattern. Nothing yet invalidates it other than, well, nothing yet takes the third thing off the table, but could easily pull back and then rotate back up still. On the bigger time frame, there's not much to talk about just yet. So, not much new. Pound, not much new. Going to see where it closes in relation to 123.16. What else? We got to get to spiders and the Qs, which are still on the list. By the way, for the spiders, we have a little pausing bar now, but we're against some key resistance. We break out above 436.25, 438, and then we still have a gap fill to 438.64, then 440.60. To the downside, I cannot get in bearish mode on the spiders unless we break below 433. We break below 433, I have one key target, about 430.75. And that's it for the time being. If you were looking for the next, on a major breakdown, my next target would be 426.71. The Qs did roughly hit the set, technically not, let's see, it was, give me the number, 3, oh boy, I can't see it, 369.80 area. What was the high yesterday? 369.78. I'm calling it virtually hit. We're at 370, so it's going to hit today on the open. Hits the 87.5. Next targets to the upside, 371.75 and then 373.75. But at this point, we're going to extend the harmonics all the way back. We'll call it the cocoa highs. The cocoa highs on Wednesday, July 19th. What is Coco looking at with a cup and handle also? He's looking at this. He's looking at this. The cup, the handle. All-time highs and infinity and beyond. To infinity and beyond, we shall see. It's got a lot of heavy lifting. Would I be surprised if the bullish if the bullish thing continues for it to get into the range? Remember, it has not. On the Qs, got between the 87.5, came really close on the bigger 87.5 to 100. But this would need some major heavy lifting to get out of there. If we jump back to the NASDAQ, you can see the same cup and handle pattern. You can see the same cup and handle pattern. And the NASDAQ, remember, has already hit the 87.5. So that would be, again, a target area if we really break out in the short term. That's all I have to say about that. What else do we have? Let me see. Let me get back here. Oh, we wanted Rivian. Rivian. Does anybody own a Rivian here? Does anybody own a Rivian? I have no problem. I actually like the cars. 1965. Let me just see something. Going into earnings. Going into earnings tomorrow. We've already closed below the 62.5. No mini double there. You know, on any downside moves, it'd be 1373. Not only is a key price action support, it's the 87.5. This on any upside, it'd be 1987 to $20 as key resistance. But again, it's earnings. But I'd be, you know what? There's no great pattern in it on the daily. Looking at the weekly. It's pulled back. So the only thing, I mean, Rivian would really need some heavy lifting to get above 2806 to trigger the weekly potential double bottom. That's the only longer term thing. But I'd be leaning. Let me take off these other longer term harmonics. I'd be leaning more for a backfill and a retest based off this overall pattern to this key support area. What else do we have? Oracle has triggered a weekly double top that has hit the first target and bounces now, battling the flat weekly rotation zone, looking for a rollover. Again, Sterling. First target, not yet. Second target, yeah. Let's see what the invalidation point is. Invalidation point is 117.16 on a closing basis, but anything up here, I'd be watching for the next rollover play. I'd be a little patient because weekly cycles are still climbing, but dailies at the top. So I'd be looking for it to come to this very key resistance in here and setting up a potential rollover. A potential rollover. Was this a valid double? Yeah. Technically, let me see on that 4 hour. Yeah, it was. And with the conservative targets, it was there. With the aggressive targets, it's not quite there. So it's coming into the aggressive target top area, but it already hit the conservative targets, and it filled the gap. So yeah. But that was a little warning sign potentially for the counter trend rally before the next potential rollover play. But Oracle has a lot of work to do to get into a bullish mode again. So I agree. I'd be watching for a rollover play. What else do we have? Oh, did I not? Let me look at Tesla real quick because I forgot Tesla. I'm keying off of yesterday's high and low, but if we start getting intraday below 218.50, watching more for a breakdown and then a retest of yesterday's low, and then still key support is right around 210.75 to 211. If Tesla can break above 226.50, then 231.50, and then 235.49. Still watching for a rollover play, but no key rollover play just yet. How would you feel about a delta neutral trade on Autodesk? Looking at the weekly, it is traded between 180 and 230. Oh, you're going into the iron condors. The iron condors. Let's take a look. I have no problem trading that kind of strategy on Autodesk. No problem whatsoever. But you start breaking below about 184s, or start breaking above, let's find the level in here, 224s, that would be very key. Let me try to look at the lower. Yeah. That's roughly the area that I'd use. So from a strike price, 225s and 185s would be key to me from strike price. Strike prices. And I might lopside it. I might do a little offset, but around 205s to 210s are the key for any head area. Okay? So those are the way I'd look to possibly set up a condor, iron condor, or even a butterfly strategy using a head area right around in here. So, yeah, I just did Tesla PMG. I just did Tesla. That's where we said the markets are open. I just want to peek at what's going on, and then I got to jump into the open. Little pullback in the S&P, but remember your key support's coming in about 43.78, 43.75 to 43.80. Let's check the tick. Then we'll check the NASDAQ. Then I'll see any other comments. The tick, a negative opening on the tick, but again, the key, this 800's been very, very key. Keep an eye before you get overly bearish at the negative 800 level. You see, yesterday managed one real push below, but look, back even on the Monday, the Monday the 6th, we got a brief push below, and then snap back. Look, and then 800's been very key. It's got to sustain for me to get in bullish mode, something below 800, with a repeated spikes down there on the 5-minute. NASDAQ, little pullback, but remember, could retest the breakout zone 15,235. Mike, if I want to make better use of the delta from quick strike 2 over to CME, what should I look into? I've studied a bit, but I have not done a lot of work with the data on quick strike, so I'd have to look into it more. I just rely on my stuff for many, many years of when I was an options market maker. So I don't use a lot of tools, but I if you remind me, I'll take a look at it at some point. Legion Reaver. All right. With that, thank you everyone for tuning in. Everyone have a fantastic trading day. And again, why keep an eye on that 800 level for the ticks. If it starts get the minus 800 level, if it starts getting violated multiple times, especially with some closes on the 5 minute below there, then we could go is slightly more into pullback level. With that, I shall talk to everyone later. Bye for now.